Happy Children's Day to all the children of the world. Today, the 27th of May, we all celebrate Children's Day. And it's Happy Children's Day to every child in the world. Celebrate them. And we need to work hard to stop child poverty and child abuse in the world. So from the stables of the Nigerian Pride and Diaspora Radio International, we wish you all Happy Children's Day and Happy Bank Holiday Weekend to the whole of the UK and the world. Welcome to the Nigerian Pride. My name is Lion Olu Shokunbi, and we are set today for this part 2 of why should we trust a Nigerian politician. If you've been watching the space, you will have known who the guest is today. I don't need to introduce him. He will introduce himself, and he's ready to go. Hello, sir.
Well, happy Children's Day. Let me join my voice with everybody in the world to say that ultimately, the preservation of humanity, we must constantly invest in children and make the world a more beautiful and sweet place for them to live. My name is Segun Showunmi. That suffices. Let's go.
I like that. Smart and quick. So I normally call him the spokesman, and I think many of us call him that, the spokesman, and different nicknames we've got. But yes, let's get it going. Thank you for having us with you today and to share your time with us today. Going straight into it with the topic we've said, why should we trust a Nigerian politician? How would you describe the Nigerian politics to us in the diaspora?
Well, let me say that the Nigerian country has, over its history, been inspired by its citizens who have had opportunities of education, work, inspiration from those countries. I'm not exactly sure we can talk about an Awolowo if we didn't have England. Same as equal if we didn't have America and all of that. And even up to the military era, it was not unusual for our officers to come to Sandhurst and some other institutions abroad. Our history, especially with Great Britain, and our trading relationship and diplomatic engagement with other nations like America and all of the big nations of the world, especially the contributions of the diaspora community of Nigerians, makes us understand that we cannot discuss the Nigerian space without paying detailed attention to what we're hearing from our citizens in diaspora. Therefore, if you ask me, how do I describe the political space in Nigeria to the diasporans? I would just say, all members of the Nigerian community in diaspora, do not imagine that the great nations of the world were ever built except by people taking time to go and inspire it, moving from one place to the other. For the great Americas we see today, it was a movement of islanders, Europeans, and all of that created that. For the great Israel we see today, it was the movement of the Jews, the post-Holocaust Jews that created that. Therefore, even though nobody is driving anybody from any part of the world now, Nigerians in diaspora cannot afford to leave the country or the continent alone, especially because the things they can easily understand and take for granted just by being part of working systems in all of those diaspora countries where they reside are the things that their country is struggling with. So if you're there, you know how they organize let's say, sewage. You know how they organize regional plannings and planning approvals. You know how they organize mass healthcare protection and safety net for the people. These things are the things your people need from you. And because we have also seen that the Nigerian community in all of the diaspora country, they represent the highest and most dignified top echelon of the diaspora community in those countries. We are at par with anybody else that is producing human resource for those countries. And I even think that in some of the locations where you are in Great Britain, they will probably have a suspicion that the Nigerian, from your children in school and some of you, they'll see that it's a nation of geniuses. Now, when you have a nation of geniuses doing so well under other people's system, I know why the agitation has to be very hard, that why can it not happen here? So they get what needs to happen. The question is, are they willing to dirty their hands? Do they consider themselves only as consistent and permanent advocates without getting involved? I say you can get involved in the process. You don't necessarily have to leave the place and come and dirty your hand in politics or throw yourself up for content. That's not the only way to get involved. One of the ways to get involved is to help those that are here already with ideas. And if you have the appetite and the interest, look for people that can make your integration into the political process easy for you. And I dare tell you, you may be surprised that if you are not looking for the biggest chair in the room, almost every other chair is available for you.
If you're not looking for the biggest chair in the room, almost all the chairs are available for you. I will pick it up from that point you made there. Now, we've had Nigerians in the past from the diaspora coming home to do what you've mentioned there, to sell their ideas, to someone to take part, take active part in the politics, some coming back home to start businesses, but yet many of them still come back to the UK to say, I'm not just going there. It's not working. Why? And you yourself, you said it there that, we have to get involved. But we have seen people who have been involved and they have not got the result.
It's the numbers. It's the critical numbers at which you get involved. Imagine if only one or two or three or four Irish people and European went into America. How far can they go? They're going to spend the whole of their time getting frustrated to inspire and influence the environment. Imagine if you had just a handful of Jews returning to the Middle East. How far could they go? But all of these examples I show you of efforts of diaspora communities to inspire. Look at India. Imagine if it was just one or two diaspora members of the Indian community in all of the countries they are that went back. Even imagine China, if you didn't have a lot of their people come and school and do all of that and observe how it's going on there and then take it back under a process of one country, two system. It's the problem we have in Nigeria is that the diaspora community, they come in trickles and they will suffer the same fate like passionate people like me within the system. The system is made up of status quo people who just like things to be as it is. And therefore, if you are a disruptor, you need partners. You need other people who get it. You need a collegiate effort to come in and start to inspire and influence things. You need to also measure your success and give yourself time. You can't insist that you're going to just fly from the diaspora. You have about 100 and something million, maybe 200 million people, and you're going to just show up the next day in the morning, speak some funny accent, and tell them you want to be president. It doesn't work that way. Now, all of those people that have been doing so well in diaspora, who have been headhunted back here, it has been to their benefit. Only God knows what would have happened if you didn't come. Akinomi, only God knows what would have happened if you didn't come. And so many others. And there are also members of the Nigerian community that have come in from the diaspora who are also well integrated into the system. What I see is that sometimes members of the diaspora community are not really willing to stay the long course of doing this job. And in any case, the world has become so flat. You don't even have to literally approach yourself. You're there now, somewhere in Glasgow, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere in England. And I'm here in Nigeria, in Abeokuta to be precise. And look at how we are having a conversation, as if I am in Channels TV and you're in Channels TV studio. The world is improving. Technology is giving us, it's removing borders. You can send money within a second. You can make phone calls and video within a second. The world is so flat. The Nigerian diaspora community needs to engage their country, not from an angle of, too much judgmental, everything is bad. No. They need to engage their country from the point of view of, that's my father's land. There's a lot of problem there. I can't leave it to those people all by themselves. Therefore, I need active partners. People you call guardians of states and guardians of institutions. And you'll be amazed, if only you just started from your family, how much influence you can have. Why? Because most of the families in Nigeria, they truly depend on handout, money transfers from one diaspora person or the other. Everybody has somebody abroad that sends them stuff. The amount of traffic of money or movement of money, transfers of money, foreign exchange movement between the diaspora community and the in-country Nigeria is huge. That money doesn't go onto trees and it doesn't go into pit latrines. It goes to people that you know, and those people are people you can influence. Don't try to buy them. Don't try to tell them this is the way it gets. No, you have to do what we call a slow burn, slowly but gradually. Show them that status quo can be right. And if you took it upon yourself to do so, you may be amazed that you will encourage them to participate in the process. You may be amazed that you will encourage them not to allow anybody to buy them. If somebody is going to pay 2,000 naira for a vote and is your family member, you know how much you can easily give them and tell them, listen, I've given you the money that they pay you, so just don't bother about that 2,000. Go there and do what is right. This is what is right. And also, there's an ambassador. Besides that, it's actually with the plans, it's with the policies, it's with the kinds of things that you take for granted. If you were to want to set up a comprehensive healthcare insurance for the country that looks like the NHS, how would somebody who has never been to London even know what you're talking about? How would they even know? They've never seen it work. If you were to tell them that it's possible to have a system that works that efficiently, they won't know. If you were to set up a new policing, completely new policing for this country, because we have a really broken police system, how would they know what a working police looks like? How would they know that it's possible that within a second of a problem, the police arrive? They've never seen that. So these experiences was what the forebearers who got us independence brought back home and insisted that we must change. So what are we going to do with this generation of people who are seeing the world move so fast? Technology is moving so fast. Artificial intelligence is moving so fast. Are they going to just sit down there and be complaining instead of figuring out the way to beat the system and make their country come onto the world and say, here we are Nigerians.
Good point. Here we are Nigerians. However, where I want to point you to, but again, we have the crop of leaders we have at the moment, the generation of leaders we have at the moment in Nigeria. If we look at them, at least if we look at it, make an estimate, about 35% of them actually studied abroad, lived abroad as young men, young women, and now they are in that position. And yet we're not seeing that, the replication of what you are asking us to do now, even in them.
Let me tell you how I see it and what has been the issue. Okay. The hegemony that has been in charge of our country since the 60s, the ones that most of them are now nearing 80, unless they are cutting their age and doing all sorts of funny things, they've been the same set of people that have been in charge of the country forever. They have set up a very complex system that can suck in stars in trickles, bring them into the system and try and tell them this is how we do our thing, and compel them to constantly begin to decay like they have created the system. Now, over time, what then happens is that even the guy that has come with a lot of brilliant ideas, he cannot find partners at the conversation table. But when you have them in numbers, and you say, okay, let's us work maybe one state at a time. Take all your states. Remember, the diaspora community from Ogun, from Anambra, from Imo and other. Sit down there, figure out precisely what you think is going on with the system, send your colleagues home to come and look at the system, and then make a proper plan of how you want to do collegiate. The word is collegiate engagement. That means a people pulled together to bring something to the table. So you're not going to be coming as one person. You're not going to be coming as 2 or 3 that will be looking for who will push envelopes for them. No, you're going to be coming as maybe a group that joins a party with the sole intention of challenging for power, maybe at the level of chairman, maybe at the level of governors, maybe whatever. And whatever they call the obstacle, within minutes, you will see that those things are not really obstacles. And if you have such big ideas, then why not? If one man can set about the revolution that created what we now call a very, very beautiful and powerful China, what can't one man do? And you can have many, many, many men when they see people who have good ideas. What people like me suffer in the country is that we're screaming all the time to them, but they're not really giving us any big space to help them bring about that thing that we passionately carry in our heart. And we don't have enough numbers on the table. The people at home are tired. They become delusional. Why? Because they're not feeling that they're getting, it didn't matter. You know, they felt they would get something better from the APC. It didn't matter. They felt they would get something better from democracy and the PDP. Maybe they didn't even get it the way they wanted it. And sometimes Nigerians are also very, 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 very impatient relative to their own expectation of how things work. And you need to come in to understand the system to see. But I believe if Nigeria is going to be great, and I think Nigeria will be great, I think it requires a lot of the diaspora energy to take us to where we want to go. And I so believe that in due season, we'll get good numbers that will come. If not you people, maybe your children.
Maybe our children. You know, when you said that, I remember the time, you know, listening to the story or reading and listening to the story of late Chief Bola Ige, how he was identified from the diaspora and then brought back home. Do you think such things can still happen in this generation?
Well, in those days, you had limited number of people who can provide those skills at home. So when you knew when you won the lottery, if it's gone to the Lincoln Inn and all of that, you just kind of like knew that, oh, there's a lawyer here, maybe from his area is one or two. And there are lots of these skills now. The people at home too are not fools. So they have whatever skill set, some people at home too can actually, you know, match you people or match the diaspora community. So I think what needs to happen first for the diaspora community, instead of complaining and running for, you know, encouraging all sort of funny agendas, I think the diaspora community can commence the business and the process of re-imaging and remarketing the country just by telling the world that no, what you say is not all there is. What about this? 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 Positive things about the country, positive things about themselves, and, you know, trailblazers there that are Nigerian. You all have media houses now. Most of you are beginning to do so much. You need to spend energy to understand that in the real sense of the world is run by narrative. And any nation or any group of people who allow itself to be perpetually on that negative narrative, it will never be able to be great. Why? Because you need partners. You need business partners. You need people that, and then Nigerians have to change their own ways of doing things. We cannot color ourselves in borrowed robes. If we insist that we're going to be going all over the place doing 419 and just committing crime and all that, the people are going to experience us that way. Other people too, I'm sure they commit crime. I think the only difference between us and them is that we're just damn too lousy. We're damn too lousy. We're damn too lousy. If you know how the financial systems of the world work, you will know that some of the countries that are even acting so pristine have some of the dodgiest characters in their system, but they're not lousy. They're not having champagne parties. They're not throwing money up in dollars and stepping on it and all of those things that irritate and offend the sensibility of people and also put a red light and a target behind their back. So if you ask me, I will tell you, honestly, there isn't too much of a problem if only we can all agree that let us create a common vision and let us all know what our role and responsibility will be in driving that vision.
Right. I like the point you made there, and that's one of the things we are doing here at the Diaspora Radio International as well as Nigerian
And
Pride.
I need to thank you very much for that. You're doing great.
Thank you very much, sir, because we're trying to, what we want to always do is to show people the great part of Nigeria, that wonderful country that we all grew up to know. So moving on from there, how would you, how can a Nigerian in diaspora, how can they join the Nigerian politics? Let's go politics now. The Nigerian politics. How?
Almost all the parties, especially the big ones, they have very big diaspora movements now. You'll have the APC UK, APC America, PDP UK, PDP America, PDP China, PDP South Africa, and all of that. That does not on its own give you that source you need to feel that you're part of the law, but it's something. It depends on what you want to do with politics. Don't forget, nobody calls people into politics and people are not hoarded into politics in mass. Anybody who wants to play an active role in politics has to take a personal decision that he wants to play. Having taken the decision that you want to play and participate in the political process, the next question will be which of the parties or what platform. You can either join the ones that exist or create your own. And if you want to create your own, the rules are there. Go to INEC, take all the requirements, put all the energy there, plan it, run it. They will give it to you. If you want to join the ones that exist, you need to look critically beyond the noise in the newspaper and the radio. Look at what they're doing. How is their attitude? How are the people feeling? What's the country like? How open are they? What is the level of inclusion? What's the order of you being able to fight for something and getting it? How much of, overbearing leadership control and imposition takes place? Whichever one suits your personality, that's the one you join. And once you join the party, please note, you can't come in one day and tell everybody that has been holding on in the party that, oh, suddenly you come, you're speaking your falsetto English, and you are now, they will listen to you for a while. If you throw some money around, they'll take it. But when the chips are down, they need to take decision. They will revert to the people that they've been with for a long time. So you need a bit of time to be with them. You need to constantly be in engagement with them. But remember, you're talking about your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your fathers, your mother, your relative. They are not that hostile. Once they see sincerity, that you want to be part of the process, join at the grassroots where everybody will probably know you and know your family. And if you stay there for a while and be consistent, do a little help here and there, according to the little or mega resources you have, you'll be amazed at how much they embrace you. And I tell you what, until you are frustrated by a contest, there's really nothing wrong with politics. You need to ask yourself, what are the things you can do with politics apart from contesting? One of them is that you get popular with people if you have skills. You will know the top echelon people in the society if you are humble and reasonable and you have some value and fire to add. The other is that even the ones that are the lowest run of the ladder, they're going to hail you and call you Babake. If that helps you to feel good, you're going to feel the safety of the embrace of the political camaraderie. It's not as bad as they make it seem. It's only when you get to the issue of going to contest, struggle for power within themselves and all that, then that can throw up other challenges. But hey, Rome was not built in a day, and you cannot fly into flying. If you must fly, you must first of all crawl, then you must walk, then possibly you must go to flying school and then fly.
Absolutely. You must go to flying school and then fly. Just to let our listeners know that we are live on the Nigerian Pride, coming to you from the stables of Diaspora Radio International. And our guest today is the spokesman, Segun Showunmi. So, moving on from there, I like the way you gave us that narrative on, how to join it, because I know a lot of people from the diaspora, they've been home, they want to struggle, they want to go into politicking, they don't go to the grassroots, they just start at the top and think they can fly and things like that. But looking at someone who has done all these things you've mentioned, and yet it's just like nothing is happening for him or her, how would you advise the person not to give up?
What is that nothing that he wants to happen? What is that something that must happen?
So the example is, so he or she has been there, she's been part of them for more than 6 years, and now she's just, okay, let's take Lagos State for example. They're preparing for the local government election now. She just wants to be a councillor. She's been to different wards, she's been to different parts of the ward where she wants to contest, or he wants to contest. Everything, met the people of the party and everything, but yet the result is not coming.
Well, first of all, we have to accept that every attempt at getting a political ticket to fly the flag of any political party carries the risk that you may not succeed, because whoever gets the ticket will probably be also a bona fide member of the party and probably better favored by the leaders. My approach to it is this: join the parties first because you like the idea of politics. Watch the environment, make yourself useful, demonstrate your skill set. They always need it, Before you know it, they have recognized you and they're already trying to take advantage of that skill set. At first, be willing to give it to them for free. Be willing to do it as a passion and a hobby. In fact, be willing to use your money to even help them. I tell you again, eventually, it will come full circle because they will then not see you as only being a diaspora member. They will see you as part of them. That was why in the beginning I said, we're not able to impact so much and do so much the way we're going in because of that kind of system that you're talking about. But imagine if you had maybe 10 or 20 of them from that same environment, maybe cousins, sisters, and other, who all just said, okay, let's go and try and be just counselor. And they go there, they come and we show them how to do it. They map the environment, they go after the leaders, they check them out, they do everything, they do some community projects and all that. After a while, nobody can stop them from being something as small as counselor. And if they apply the same energy over and over and over and over again, nobody will be able to stop them from being governor. Remember that even Bola Tinubu, who everybody blames for whatever is going on in Lagos, was once a diaspora member himself. First in America and Chicago and all of the issues there, then in the UK during the exile days. But today, he's almost considered to be one of the people that take all of this decision. There were days he too had to line up. There were days when he had to wait the tables with Abadaudu, Abraham Adesoya, and some of those other big people. The problem with young people is that they're always too much in a hurry. They never really understand that tenacity pays. If you're tenacious about it, if you put your mind to it, if you're on it, if you don't get frustrated, and of course, if you're lucky, which I attribute to our desire and our belief in God and all that, you'll find out that you may not have gotten where you want to be, but you won't all the way say, oh, it's a worthless effort. Imagine all the beautiful parties they get to invite you to. Since you like Owambe, they call you to governor's party and all that because you're a member. And if you look the role, you act the role, you dress the role, you speak the role, I tell you this, nobody wants to be hanging around with riffraff. They have their own roles. The people of the diaspora will be the ones they want to show up as part of a team of egghead. Get the skills. Put yourself under mentorship. Respect leaders. Don't speak to people. Don't speak at their faces. You can challenge them, but you must do it slowly. You're not going to get the big voice in one day to start speaking to them anyhow. It takes time. And if you ask me from my experience, it's been a while. I've been coming in and out trying to do that. I've been in this space since 1996. And I've been in diaspora. I'm a diaspora person myself. And I've been here since 1998, precisely when they started PDP. And I've been here since today. At first, it's coming. After 6 months, go back. And now I can't even imagine myself staying out of the country for too long. It's just damn too boring. I miss London all the time. London is my absolute perfect go-to country. There's just something about good old Great Britain. But at the same time, when I'm there for like 3 weeks and all that, I already miss my pepper souping, beer parloring, dancing, and Owambe of our crazy Nigerian environment. When you live here, it doesn't look like a jungle the way they make it seem when you're outside and reading all the news. Remember that a headline will scream. The reality on the ground may not be that bad.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I remember making this kind of point to Sir Vince Cable when I had the opportunity to do that, that what you read on the news is not what you see on the ground. Now, talking about that, I was even going to get into your own experience, but you've brought it out a bit there. So I know the first time I really heard of your name and really paid attention was when you worked with the governor of Ogun State then as his deputy press secretary. And I was just a boy then in Ogun State University, just watching the space, trying to learn. And, watching over the years till now, is that part of the patience you're telling us to have?
If you must be one of those people who's going to bring any big thing by way of inspiring society, immortalizing, ideas, you have to understand that you need tenacity and you need a whole lot of grit and patience. You're not trying to be their dictator. You must get them to see and they must hear you consistently until they know that, no, this is not one of those fakes. And you mustn't go for just everything and anything. You must stay the point. That's one of the reasons why the persuasion to leave the PDP is always there. But I always tell myself, if good people don't stay, if you join all of these people hopping up and down, what exactly is the max you can expect from him? Money. to do what with. If you are interested in politics, money is not the only criteria that is required. It is an important criteria. But I believe and I'm hopeful that when you have a bit of integrity, nobody is perfect, nobody's all clean. But if you have consistency, the voice is there. You know, I marvel at myself. I'm standing in airports, some very far-flung countries of the world. I want to make a comment, and somebody just looks back and starts running to hug me. Oh, thank you for what you do. We're always listening to you. We'd like to hear you, Mr. PDP. I wonder how many times I could have changed my side to get that consistency. A lot of people have other reasons for going today, going tomorrow, going this, going that. Some of them are shopping for platform. Some of them just want to be with the ruling party. Some of them, to be honest, can be easily frustrated by where they are. But I hold the view that the grass is not always greener on the other side. Sometimes you need to understand that if it's not happening now, maybe it's not meant to happen just yet. And if you are there, you are friendly to people, you'll have friends in opposition, and they will respect you because they know that this guy doesn't just stand for rubbish. You have not come to them in the night to come and start telling them nonsense. Even when you sit with them, the conversation is about what's progress for them, what's progress for the country, and probably a bit of what's progress for you. You must follow your passion. Do you know how many people try to be big musicians? They sing and sing and sing, do all sorts of karaoke. They're not flying yet. I go to drop it. They won't. What about the ones that want to be movie stars? They do and do. Everything that happens in life that is great takes time. Everything that is happening in life that can be impacting requires tenacity. If you are a fly-by-night kind of person, today you tell your children you are in PDP, tomorrow you tell them you are in a different name, next tomorrow your grandchildren come, you are singing them another party slogan in 3, 4, 5. No, come on, man. You're confusing yourself and you're just undermining your own integrity. It's not supposed to be so. Some movements must take place from time to time. There's no rigidity. I've asked myself 1 million times, Segun, are you in your comfort zone? Do you just like this comfort zone of this comfort zone? Why don't you want to move? You see, I would. I could. My problem is, how do I know whether those people will stay? Because I already proved that I'm someone who can stay. I can win with them. We can lose together. I can do the job when we're in victory. I can even do the job when we're not in victory. It doesn't matter to me. I want us to just be on the conversation on the right side of the Nigerian people. But if you go and join them, knowing who they are, can you even look at the APC, for instance, now? If you look at the APC critically, you can't even remember the PDP people. They've taken over almost everything. Almost everybody there, with the exception of a few of them, maybe people like the president himself, and maybe people like Bola Tinubu and a few others. Almost all the others that are bellowing with big voices, they were the ones that were PDP misbehaving a couple of weeks ago. And those of us that have been saying, oh, let's reform the party, they've come and gone, they've gone and come, they've come again. Come on, man. It looks like it's profitable, but in the long run, it's one of the reasons why we don't have parties with ideology. People should be able to win with their parties. People should be able to lose with their parties. People should be able to reform their parties. If a set of leaders lose, they should move. Another set of leaders will come on board and try to win. If they lose, they move. But that doesn't mean that the ones who lost have to leave the party. I'm not even sure that some of the leaders who have been prime ministers in Britain have left their flags. I'm not sure that what's his name? When the last president of America, Donald Trump, was in charge, I'm not sure that you heard Obama saying he wants to go and join their party. Some things are beneath leaders. It's shameful and embarrassing that in this part of the world, in my Nigeria, most of these people don't consider that, oh, no, I can't be doing this. No. What about the people? What about the people that they don't see it that way? But I happen to see it that way. And please, that does not mean I've said I can never be persuaded. Up till now, I've just not been persuaded. In fact, right now, my greatest excitement is I wish that we would just come together and just do our own thing, create a new party, try to be, if we can find people that are really determined, let's just even go and show these old men that we can go it on our will. But here we are, they won't do it. And I don't join people to go and waste their own time. I like people who, I like to have a chance of winning, even though the odds of losing is there. But I don't like to get on a fool's paradise thinking that you are going to build castles in the air. It gets on my nerve because I think that those energies they are using and dissipating all over the place, trying to say that they can be president when they don't even know how to tie their shoelaces. I believe that it can be useful in the body of established parties. We can even chase the old ones away, but you need the numbers and you need them to be in there fast. You need them to be in there hard, and we can then start reforming. You can reform from within or you can reform from without.
good point. And for that point you've made there, I will ask this question, which was sent in by actually one of the journalists well known to you in Nigeria. I won't mention his name, but he said, can you please ask the spokesman, why is he not part of the present NWC of the PDP?
Okay, thank you very much. See, when I get this comment comes to me all the time with profound respect. Anytime people are, especially when they start to talk, the NWC people, spokesman, that's what people immediately they finish the interview. My phone would just be buzzing, not with even politicians, with top echelon people who are smart. I say, you this guy, you have to be but you know what? The system does not allow me to enthrone myself. I do everything with them and for them, and I defend them in spite of them. When I say in spite of them, in spite of all of their misdemeanors and all that. But I can't really come and start telling them that, oh, I'm the one that has to be this, I'm the one that has to be that. But imagine for a second, if a lot more of us were involved in the process. Imagine the kind of people we'll be throwing up. There are thousands of us, there are thousands of people like me, but they can't just be bothered. And it's even sometimes I pinch myself. Why do I even have the patience? Ich kann Deutsch sprechen sehr gutes. Ich kann Deutsch sprechen sehr, sehr gut. Not so good, but unbedingt. I speak very good German. I lived in England. I know that I can also come and be in the diaspora. Any of the diaspora country I want. But the problem is that it will not satisfy my soul. I can't imagine being a number in a country where you can have a voice. The best you will be in any country is the level of glass ceiling the citizens of this country and the establishment allow you. I don't feel that there's any glass ceiling over my head in Nigeria. There is nobody that is a serious-minded leader in this country that doesn't know me by voice and by face on television. I will give that up for what? If they make me the man in charge of if I'm in the NWC, of course it will get value. But they don't like to reform. I remember that after we lost in 2015, listen to the story. We lost in 2015, and then, of course, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. We can't be in power for 16 years and expect that democracy will work on the basis of we're going to be in power for 1 million years. What kind of talk is that? Democracy works on the idea that you win for some time, people get tired, they boot you out, you punish those leaders that misbehave, you rebrand the party, you come and all that. That's how it works. And then we did a review committee, and I was very active in that review committee. And when it was time to speak, the young people like one that will speak on behalf of the next generation. Guess what? I told them, I told the leaders, they were all seated. I said to them, almost in this phrase, but maybe not exactly. I said, it is not the expectation of democracy that you are going to keep winning forever. So you need to stop sulking that you lost. You're meant to lose. From time to time, they will also lose at some point in time. But please note, you cannot reform this party. You cannot create a new energy into this party with the consciousness with which you created the problem. You people are sitting down here for 16 years. You can't even finish our national headquarters. This is shameful. You have not introduced any complex, financial auditing system, even for the party. The basis of internal democracy at the boards and local government is weak. You have not up to now thought about a more creative way of funding the party. You have not even thought about how to make the party strong. You can't do it. Even if you say you want to, you don't know how to. We are all creatures of habit. Why not start letting younger people, fresher hands, newer faces, bigger idea, come take the lead? Imagine if the Obama generation in America had insisted that instead of sending Obama, it's McCain they would send. Would they even win? Would they even win? Imagine if the Republican Party did not think that, at this particular time, we need to send Donald Trump in there. Would they win? So from time to time, leaders have to give the space to young people. Imagine what's going on in England. If you didn't have your present prime minister who was given a chance to lead, would they even win? But imagine if they have insisted that they would never allow them except to be PAs, spokesperson, and all these titles that help them. We'll do it for the greater benefits of the party and for everybody. But the truth of the matter is that the parties must have guardians. Unfortunately, in the case of Nigeria, our guardians are still the homogenic old men who insist that the ideas of 1960 that they've been running with a little bit of brush up that they are doing, that children are teaching them how to use WhatsApp, that's where we are going to go forever and ever. What can one person do? Sometimes it's not even easy for you to say Here I am, send me. But I've always told them, here I am, send me. You know I will not, you know it's going to be, it can never be business as usual. The APC knows. And sometimes I tell myself, why are you even trying? I can't go and join the APC. Because I can even see a lot of gaps in the narrative management of the APC and the narrative management of the country that I can imagine. Yeah, me, Segun Showunmi, they would have been on a different level. Science works. You have to use science. You have to put a lot more into research. You have to be, you can't be a good spokesperson if you don't have diction. If you cannot think on your feet, they cannot prepare all the arguments for you before you get to the studio. What if Shokunbi asks you a question that was not on the script? Then it's like, you're making and the people will be looking at what's wrong with this person. They give you an analogy. You'll be doing the analogy of a goat. When you're supposed to be talking about highfalutin ideas that people can take to space, come on, they don't come any better than this, really. But it's up to me and their people. In fact, sometimes I even ask myself, come on, man, Segun, what's all this? I've been there since they started. I've lost a lot of my friends to going away. Almost all my friends have gone. Your guy Daniel has gone. This one has gone. I'm always here. When they go and come back, I'll still receive them. I'll give them their place. But I'm here. If now me too, I'm tired. I want to make money too. I want to solve my problem. I want to give my wife something. I want to buy houses for my own kids too. Why not? I'm not a small boy too. I've just been holding on, believing that this attitude and this conduct of mine will be celebrated one day. And I think you are beginning to celebrate it. Thank you for inviting me.
No, and indeed, we must say, party politics apart, I think, many of my own generation, we are proud of what you do. And, anytime you've never let us down. And that's one thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. It's consoling. It's very consoling.
It's one thing we really appreciate. But taking it forward, because looking at the issues we have now in Nigeria, the insecurity, the kidnapping, and into even the clamor by some people now for the disintegration of Nigeria. Where are we going? How did we get here?
Thank you. You see, I do not like the concept of blaming one man for everything. No, I don't really like that, because I'm aware that there are collective responsibilities of people who per season are elected leaders in the country. So I don't really like the idea that let us say, oh, the president all the time, the president. But in this case, with due respect to President Buhari, he caused a lot of this problem, either intentionally or unintentionally. The fault lines have always been there. This country is not a country of one tribe. It's not even a country of 200 tribes. There are loads of tribes and loads of tongue in this country. You cannot run or give the impression of excessive nepotism without bringing up these traditional tribal issues. If a leader is leading Nigeria, and he's leading Nigeria in such a way that no part of Nigeria can say he's being undermined or he's being overfavored to some extent, or there's some element of balance or equity in the way things are done, these fault lines usually disappear. They don't exist when we go to parties to eat. They don't exist when we play football. They don't exist when one of us does something great like Anthony Joshua and Adesoya and all of those great athletes like Okagwe, Mary Oyale and all of those people. They exist when we get to leadership, and almost every time people are looking, they're seeing that some people are more favored than others. Now, that is one problem, but that's not even the biggest problem. The bigger problem for me is that a nation as complex and as fragile as ours cannot but pay attention to what's going on all around it. Younger people are being migrated into the consciousness space. Therefore, this energy, what are we going to do with them? More people are able to see what the good life looks like on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram in other countries. They naturally must desire a little bit more. Urban-rural migration is a big issue. People don't want to stay in the farm. The ones who want to come and eat the corn in the farm is a problem. You have to throw in a lot of well-thought-through policies to ensure that these things are contained. You cannot be a big country with the kind of landmass we have and insist that you have only one central command police. Yes, I get the argument in the First Republic it was a problem, but how many people were enlightened in the First Republic? Are we not able to find a cleverer way, a better way to have a multimodal policing structure? In the UK where you are, you have county police, you have the other police, and then you have the country police. When there's a problem, somebody has come onto the stage, is police is police. They're the only ones who know this is county. And when it's high crime, more than other, it becomes a major. You are going to the old Baileys. When when they take you to the old, God forbid, it's serious. And this is like, you see, what I'm trying to say is that we have to understand. One of the reasons why we are all frustrated about Nigeria is that our policing has broken down. If the smallest of us can influence a policeman, even an Okada rider, with a bribe, then how do you expect the biggest of us to be corrected or be afraid of the police? So it means that we have a nation of people who across board have no respect for the police. And if you don't respect the police, how do you want to stop all crime from transportation? If you break the traffic light, you're going to get a letter. Nobody is going to do anything here. If you don't have MOT, you take your car to the road, a policeman will stop you. If you are a civil servant, you are told you have stolen or something, a police will come. If you are a judge, the police. If you are the prime minister, you have issues with how much money you collected to furnish your house and all that, the police will come. In Nigeria, who exactly does the police arrest or pretend to stop from misdemeanor, except the extremely lowest run of the ladder, whom they harass for all of this? And why? It is so because we don't give them the kind of wage and the kind of orientation that other countries give their own police people. So if you ask me, we can solve all our problems if we all collectively realize that we don't have any other country but to call our own. I cannot imagine that we are a nation that no longer does or invests in massive reorientation. In the former time, this country, you hear them sing pledges, national anthem, a lot of, if they need Nigeria, or Nigeria will survive. Great effort, even by military government, to constantly reorientate us and give us a sense of a pride of Africa. What do you have today? Every conversation in our media space is almost 100% negative. We are only grateful, and we remain internally grateful to our music maestros and stars who are taking us into all of the capitals of the world, who are winning Grammys for us, who are making sure that other countries are being acculturized by the things that they do, which is purely private sector. Is there any reason why government does not understand and know that countries must be reimaged, countries must be marketed, people must be shown how to believe in their country? There must be something they're holding on to them. If you're in Nigeria and they're talking about Britain, you're going to feel, because you're British, I know, you're going to want to go back. Why? Because you get the NHS, you get the housing things, you get the working transportation, you get all of this. If you don't have a job, you probably would get some gyro and all that. It means that the citizens know that their government and their system put something in their hand. In our own case, you want us to thank you because we built an overinflated 1 kilometer road with our money, which was profit for you at some point in time or the other. So we have not given the Nigerian citizens enough to be patriotic. And if you don't have enough patriotic citizens, then criminal elements will begin to run. And if everybody in the country likes the good life, like we in Nigeria, we like the good life, then where do you expect the lower run of the ladders who are also wanting the good life, how do you want them to get it? They will come with saying they have some ideological underpinning for doing crime, but at the bottom of it, it's just money. The number of kidnapping for ransom we do in this country, you would think that some of us were not even in Europe when the IRA was there. The number of things we would say we're paying ransom is unheard of anywhere in the world. Not in Russia, not in England, even at the height of their issues with the Sinn Féin and IRA, not in separatist movement of Basque in Spain, not in France, not anywhere, not even in Afghanistan. How? So you know that the underpinning of our own issue is just love of money, poverty, and an opportunity to make money. So we need to look at the problem for what the problem is, and we need to come up with solutions that we think may work. Some of them will be, but not limited to this, You cannot have a country that does not have an absolute reliable biometric capture of its citizens to a verifiable address. It's crazy. If the police stops you in England, they have a document, the system in their hand, you give them an ID, they shove it through it, they say you are all clean. Immediately, they don't waste your time. You don't even, you don't even know, they don't even know where people live here. They don't know what, and you know the funny thing, the GPRS has now come into the country showing us how to turn to streets and all that. Can you imagine how much we can do with that if only we had a biometric capture of people to a verifiable address? And if our situation is very, very critical, we can copy the Ameldon system in Germany, where everybody that lives in the house must be accounted for. We can't be in a hopeless situation. There's too much of, China has how many billion people? More than 1 billion people. They're not dealing with this level of criminality. India has the same. Why should we just less than 200 million people, black people, will be doing as if our situation and our country cannot be, managed, policed, and crime reduced? There's no crime-free society, don't get me wrong, but we're not trying hard enough. Then when you are done with that, you need to include technology to what you're doing. People know that you can have low Earth orbit satellite that can be looking at things from the sky. It's called eyes in the sky. It's technology that is available. We can also buy it. We can even inspire our people to invent if we can give them the wherewithal. We have not done anything there. Then you need to be able to know that you need a regulatory system that punishes crime. And it has to start with punishing the crime of the leaders. Imagine if tomorrow morning there was a news break in England that says that they found evidence that the Prime Minister of England, Boris Johnson, has taken the donation that he ought not to have taken. Do you know how much koala would be on his plate? They'll probably be telling him they want to impeach him. They'll probably tell him he has to go to jail. They'll probably tell him he has to go for trial and all that. In our own country, nothing happens. All you do is that they'll write in paper, before you know it, they say you have gone to EFCC. They'll be there for 10 years. I don't know how somebody can be prosecuting a crime as terrible as abuse of office in Nigeria for 10 years. It's crazy. It's crazy. The judiciary knows that this thing has to be in-out. We need to put them in so that the next set of governors will know that we're not tolerating or taking it. These are the small steps. And then we need to know there is no reason why a sovereign state that has its own currency cannot give its people their own currency as social security. And you can pin it in such a way that it goes back into the system through food and all of it. It's a whole work, and it's not as difficult as they make it seem. The only thing is that some of these things can't be done unless you are seated on a chair where you're giving the instruction and making sure that you're going to be the madman telling them that the new sheriff is in town.
A new sheriff is in town. There's so many things you've touched on there, but because of our time, what I just want to go back to is that in terms of, I would say the community where you come from now professionally, in terms of the media, our media these days, which we have observed, is that, like you said, the celebration of the negativity seems to be too much. Even, news, sometimes I even ask, do we vet, is there anybody or any organization vetting any of the news agencies we have in Nigeria? Because
when the head of the fish is rotten, what can you do with the body? In our own case, the head is rotten, the body is rotten, the tail is rotten, the fin is rotten. So you see, those countries that insist that they will not let you get away with misdemeanor, they're not really doing it because they hate you. They're doing it because they want to protect the system and they don't want to make it everybody just doing exactly the same thing. Some crimes happens there, some settlement happens there, but it's not an all-comers Jack and Jill game like we do here. We have not done well enough here. And everybody's copying everybody. The political system from 1999 to date is almost broken now. When I reflect on it, one of the people you must blame and blame well, one of them is Bola Tinubu, the other one is Chief Obasanjo. Why? They're the ones that created, Bola Tinubu, in Obasanjo's case, he was the one that started not allowing the parties to be stronger than the government. If the parties had been stronger than the government, governors and all of these people would not be harassing parties anyhow. Because you can't be a governor if the party doesn't give you the ticket. You can't be a president if they don't give you the ticket. How dare you say the mother that laid the egg suddenly is now going to be afraid of the chick? All of your tenure is just 8 years. The party has been here for 16, 17, 18, 20 years. What are you doing? That's Obasanjo's own, and everybody's copying him. You know, in Bola Tinubu's cases, it's even worse. For someone with a lot of democratic credentials in terms of advocacy and joining Nadeko and all that, it is a matter of great shame that he didn't see that this business of he is the one who has to decide everything. You take position at his beck and call. Governors have to be removed and stayed. I mean, think about it this way. Fashola was one of their poster boys. He finished government. He was supposed to be made a minister. They had to start telling themselves, I don't want to dance with pig. I don't want to do all that kind of rubbish. Why? Because the big man was trying to say no. Ambode is here. A lot of people in Nigeria will tell you that if you go to Lagos, that Ambode did fantastically well, especially for the fringes, the poor area, the Alimoshos, the Ekpes and all that. What was this crime? Or the Bacon, and okay, they are lucky. They have a lot of good stars. Yeah, someone who is equally, you know, is up there and all that. So, but when you create democracy to resemble that, the problem is that other people will copy you, and they will be very lousy at copying it. So now everybody wants to be Bola Tinubu. No governor wants to govern and go. Every governor wants to govern and insists he has to put the successor. Every governor wants to govern and insists that he has to pick all the candidates that will go to Senate, Rep, and House of Assembly at his beck and call. This is the one little mouse that was basically crawling about to the houses of leaders to even beg them for this ticket with very limited amount of money. And yet you are destroying the parties. And they forget that the political parties are the first safeguards to democracy. If you have 40 parties with 40 ideology and 40 identity, you are not going to breed anything other than this kind of craziness. Parties can't even call their own government to order. Parties can't even say, hey, Mr. Governor, this is our manifesto. You are not following it. They can't even use a general caucus of their party to say, no, you have to go. They can't impeach anybody. Imagine that in this country, we can't impeach. The last time any impeachment took place was during Obasanjo, and we know that those impeachments too, they were not democratically, engineered. Why are we agitating so much? We'll be advocating so much. Non-state actors will take over the street so much, and yet there are no consequences for the political office holder. That is not normal. It's not normal. So something has to give, and I hope that with time, maybe now that he is also getting much older, I think with introspection, maybe he will understand that I'm not blaming him. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes leaders do things without having the benefit of hindsight. And that hindsight is 50-50 vision. What I'm saying is that they are copying, and they are lousy example of copying what they are trying to copy. They are not even getting sharp people like he was even getting for Lagos. Look all around you. You can't even get them to do, continuous development along the trajectory. And almost everybody has passed through him. Yet, nobody was, apart from Oshoba, nobody can tell me truthfully that he was governor in even Ogun State, that he didn't pass through him. And yet, why are they copying him and not copying him well? Why do we seem as if we're people that says Hosanna today and crucify him tomorrow? It's because we worship people instead of investing in systems that are sustainable. And the only way to reverse it is to start punishing them. I'm telling you, I don't hate them. They are my people, they are my friends. But if you don't punish them, nobody is going to change. The next man is going to go there to try and steal better than the last man. And that we can't continue like this. I'm sure the members of the international community are even tired of the level of support they are giving us, and the result is not showing. UNFPA is here, UNESCO is here, World Bank is here, World Health Organization is here. All of the issues that are bedeviling us, there's not a single one of them that on our own watch we have been able to solve, not even malaria. The world had COVID. People from other systems put together brains to come up with genome sequencing, to find out what will be something that looks like a vaccine, and start giving us hope. Is there anybody that said that can come from us? It can. We've been having pharmacists in this country since how many years? Yet we are not manufacturing drugs. All we are doing is turning ourselves into dispensaries where we'll be selling, not thinking about our own problems and figuring out how to use science and the energy and the training we have to solve it. We can't even buy the equipment for them. We're too quick to clap. A couple of days ago, I was watching a skit on TV. The governor of my state is probably commissioning a very short road. I saw him dancing Skelewu with his deputy governor. Okay, I like him because he's a bobo, He's a bobo. I'm a bobo too. I like his dance move, but after I like the dance move, I started asking myself, have we gotten this bad in this country that we now go to Commission Road and even be dancing there? What is the big deal about roads? In fact, I don't expect governors to be commissioning roads now. The money we need to even build more roads is what we're using to do commissioning. Build the damn road and let the people that built it put a plaque there in your name if you are so interested in reading a plaque in your name, and go to the next road. Why are you commissioning it? If you have done it, the people will know. The responsibility of your Ministry of Information is not to be following up and down like a poodle. Their responsibility is to be reimaging the state. Their responsibility is to be expanding the conversation. Their responsibility is to be doing reorientation for the people, not reducing themselves to photographers of a governor. This is what we have become. And please, with due respect, my governor is not even one of perhaps the best. I can't even find people that are better than him now. I'm being honest. I'm most likely going to challenge him for election. I don't know, and maybe I may be lucky. But the point I'm making is that he's even still one of the best. I've looked at them himself, saying, Makinde, who day again? All the others are busy distracting themselves with all sorts of things. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm speaking about this thing so passionately because I know we cannot build a united, a great nation without worrying about what governors are doing, without worrying what local government chairmen are doing. How can you imagine that there's no state in the Southwest, the whole almighty Southwest, that is claiming they want to carve Oduduwa Republic? There's no state here that the governor is running autonomous local government that everybody can say, this is the example. How? That we can't find good people there? So I know what I'm saying when I'm saying to you that we need the diaspora energy. And there's no time I go through a new town in this state, maybe, the state capital, you are going to all the new areas, that I will not put my hand on my head and say, should we just call all the town planners and just kill them? Because I don't understand how a new town that is just coming up will be a shanty. It costs nothing for you people to lot it. It costs nothing for you to look for the approval. It costs nothing. All you just have to do is create bulldozer and just create the plots. Now you won't do it. Everybody will build anyhow. Before you know it, shanties are now the ones that are trying to swallow cities. And then every time you have to bring somebody in to come and break people's houses, to come and do all that kind of rubbish, when in the first instance, all we needed to do is just apply the law. In London, where you are, if you wanted to, I'm assuming you have a house. One of my very good friends, whom I usually stay when I'm in English, has a fantastic house. She was telling me the other time that if you had to extend just 1 meter of garage space, you want to break, the way they do that curve, and then you want to do like open garage, just to make them just bring them down small. We are talking about breaking, maybe you understand, so that you can just drive in without. You got to write approval. They got to bring engineers. They have to tell you how much it costs. They have to tell you if they have to transfer manhole and all of this thing. That's how nations are supposed to be growing. Well.
Okay, sir. I think on that point, the final question is, on all these things you've said, everything, summing it up, why should we still trust a Nigerian politician?
Thank you. God bless you. Because we don't have any other process that mankind has developed for itself that is better than democracy. If we had a dictatorship, we'll have to be praying, looking for people to come and help us fight war to remove him. If we had a monarchy, he will be transferring the country to his son via the fact that he slept with a woman and she gave back to his son. Imagine that. But we have democracy where everybody is allowed to participate. So if this set of politicians are not giving you value, engage and find more. Throw up more politicians. Strengthen them, support them, raise money for them, provide structures, help them with campaign fund, posters and all of this thing. Advocate for them, be the champion, be volunteers. Not the volunteers that sit on the head of the candidate, expecting him to even pay money for their volunteering role. If we don't trust politicians, okay, how then will we generate leaders in a democracy? How?
If we don't trust
politicians, it means that the present set of people may be bad. And I can even tell you, with every sense of responsibility and on their behalf, a lot of good men are in the process. It's the fact that one is here, one is here, one is here. Now we are at a point where we need to be on ground zero. We need to reset the agenda for our country. And resetting the agenda for our country, we need to find new people. 7 or 8 people created what you call the Japanese conspiracy that created the big Japanese miracle, the conspiracy of the yen. People don't read. How many top families contributed to the renaissance of Israel? After the collapse of the Third Reich and the Second World War, Konrad Adenauer was the first post-war vice chancellor of Germany. He did much. What about Margaret Thatcher? You see, every generation must determine for itself what he wants to contribute to life. And he must work very hard to make it happen. Otherwise, it will just go back into relative obscurity. I do all I do that I might tell God that, oh, I didn't stop trying. I didn't stop talking. I didn't stop encouraging. I wasn't abusing them. I wasn't being partisan. I wasn't being combative and hateful. I wasn't speaking to them at them. I was speaking with them. I wasn't trying to say that no. I just want us all to agree that we are, you know who we Nigerians are? We are a special breed. Let me share one little joke for you. The history of the breaking up of DNA. The alpha DNA, the ghost DNA is from Nigeria. We taught the world to beat Congo. I'm telling you, I'm not guesswork, it's science. It's science. Check it out. Research is saying that it seems as if there is a ghost DNA, that DNA that doesn't resemble, we can't see where it got its origin from. It's from here, it's from the black man. Not just the black man, it's from Nigeria. We are the ones who taught them how to beat drums. We are the ones who taught them how to do music. We are the ones who taught them how to dye the color indigo to make it into jeans. We brought so much to the world. Our forebearers are not fools. We had the Awolowos of this world who can stand shoulder to shoulder with any president anywhere in the world and be equal. We got even television before France. We had Tafawa Balewa who created a fantastic model for the North. Albeit it didn't take into consideration the degeneration that can come in with excessive religiosity in any developmental agenda, be it Christianic or even Islam. But the truth of the matter is that the vision was clear. The vision was run through and the vision worked. Okay, why don't they have men like that, even from their successor? The people who said they were with him, they would put on caps on their head and be walking up and down the place talking all sorts of buzzword. Today is referendum, tomorrow is the restructuring, next week is resource control, the next day is fiscal federalism. They have an adjective every 4 years. It is not supposed to be so. It cannot continue like this. We are the people that Africa is waiting for, and we must not allow the hope of the black race to dim. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. For viewers and everyone who has been watching and listening to us across the world, that's the Nigerian Pride today. The spokesman has spoken. He has left it, he didn't hold anything back, and we really appreciate that. On that note, I want to say have a lovely weekend to everyone. Happy Children's Day as well. In the UK here, have a lovely bank holiday weekend, and I'll see you next month. My name is Lion Olu Shokunbi. Bye for now.